Hey, this is MassX with a brand new One Punch Man the Strongest video, and we're going to talk about what the rest of the year should look like. Well, at this point, we're going to go ahead and assume that the Garu core and character will be out in February, so that leaves 10 slots for the remainder of the year. Now, if we follow the plan that has already occurred on the previous servers, then we know what the next 10 releases should be. And that's going to start with Silver Fang in March. Now, Silver Fang is an interesting unit, not one that I would recommend getting because there are much better units that will be coming down the line, but he is basically just an absolute beast AoE DPS type character. Problem is with him is those types of characters require heavy investment first off. That means not only are you going to have to just build him up immensely, but you're going to also have to get the KS, you're going to have to get him to OC2, the list goes on and on. So that's really the major problem with this character, plus there will be just better characters coming. Now again, solid unit, absolutely crushes some of the other characters compared to what they release, especially for their AoEs. For example, looking at like Gogetsu does 180%. Well, Silver Fang does 480%. CE Plus does 250%. Yeah, you see where I'm going. 480% attack, that 300% ult plus 180% follow-up is pretty freaking crazy. But again, you don't need the character if you've got CE Plus. Or like I said, there's going to be better characters that we'll be talking about, like Garu, SSR Plus, Kogetsu, SSR Plus, Atomic Samurai, SSR Plus, etc. So this is one that most people are going to probably skip on. Now the next character that should come is one that I really am excited for, of course, is the SSR Plus Atomic Samurai. SSR Plus Atomic Samurai, again, would be April. So he's a duelist and a hero, which you would fully expect. And they classify his roles as slay lives and ultimate damage free. But he is a super freaking strong column character with his ult that has an absolutely insane effects. If you look at his ult, attacks a column with 5 consecutive strikes, dealing damage by a 650% of attack. If the target is in specialized unyielding status, its effective or upcoming damage ignoration will be changed by -2 actions, which is absolutely crazy. Now, this character, not going to say he's a must get, but for free to plays, he's a great character, okay? And the reasons for that is he's going to be really solid in PvP and PvE, excuse me. And if you OC2 him in the Giro era, okay, he's freaking works great. I mean, his ability to reduce the target max HP so they die faster is awesome. If he kills or triggers unyielding, he does a follow-up ult attack again. And with his KS, he increases allies' enhanced unyielding state by 1. So yeah, he's pretty freaking good. And if you OC2 him, he permanently weakens enemy attack by 40% and will always follow up ult after an action. So yeah, and he's actually kind of tanky with his skill set. So yeah, to me, he is probably the next character after Garu that you would really consider going after. Not a must, but definitely a solid character. Now, of course, one that I know a lot of people want to go after, which would be next, which would be the SSR Plus Garu. Now, he's good, okay? Don't get me wrong. I mean, she's definitely solid. And again, like I always say in all these videos, all the SSR pluses are good. But he's going to be a tough one to recommend, especially for free to play. Why is that? Well, of course, what you'd expect with Garu, okay? He's like super high single target ult, okay? Let's look at his ult here real quick. Attacks a single target with 5 consecutive strikes for 950% attack damage. Crit will trigger breakthrough, instantly remove target's damage, ignoration granted by unyielding type effect once per attack. So yeah, he's going to be one of those characters to help you slowly dismantle a team. And because of specialized guard, he can be tanky. He's got stun removal. You know, he's good, you know, and he's a solid counter to Atomic Samurai, SSR Plus. The problem is with him, like you hear this a lot of the time, is heavy investment. You're going to have to get his KS. You're going to have to Oct to him. He's a grappler. We all know how hard it is for the grappler spots on top of everything else. And really, he's not a necessity. That's the thing. If you're looking at conservation and who's going to give you the most bang for the buck, then Garu's probably going to be a skip for you. Good character, but definitely not a necessity. Now, what would come after Garu would, of course, be Phoenix Man SSR Plus, and this is a fun, interesting unit. Not one that I would necessarily say is a must-get, but a very interesting mechanic that brings into the game that possibly can be game-changing for you. So what basically this character can do is, for his ultimate, you know, it will attack a single target with 2 consecutive strikes, dealing damage by 150% of attack, max HP points, inflict off battle on target after taking action, and returns for the next round. Basically, the character in off battle cannot take action, trigger passive skill, or be damaged, in effect once per round. So yeah, basically that removal is a nice mechanic to kind of give your team, depending on how you structure it, a way to take out other characters to allow that one to be necessarily focused the following round. The other thing too is with this character is, if you look at his passive, when battle begins, increases his max HP by 100%, ignores the effect of max HP boost, and recovers HP by 50%. Triggers reborn after taking fatal damage and not an unyielding effect, yada yada yada. The point is, like you'd expect, Phoenix Man can come back again. Now, here's some of the things to think about with this character. And again, this is going to sound redundant at this point, but again, you're really going to want to awaken the passive, the 5P passive. Why? Well, with the 5P passive, your revive is going to go to 25% over 15%, and your awaken 2, it's going to revive from 4 times your allies to 6 times. And the additional effect you also get with it is it grants allies 30% non-crit damage free. So yeah, but some of the things you do have to think about with this character are, okay, of course, SSR plus CK does not reflect damage if removed from battle. You cannot remove bosses. Makes sense, right? You cannot remove units that are dead but waiting to revive, so Zombie Man, okay? And if there's only one enemy unit, then of course you can't remove them from battle. But it's an interesting mechanic. It makes him quite fun to play with and can actually, crafted the right way, be incredibly good for your team. So this is one that I really am actually looking very forward to. So next up, which would be coming next, would be Gogetsu, the SSR Plus. Now, he is a very good character, okay? Problem is, it's just going to matter how you want to conserve and what your team needs are. He's really tanky. He has like amazing heals, okay? Just looking at his passive, you can see he increases his max HP by 100% and recovers HP by 50% before every round. Recovers HP for 50% of max HP before action of any character. I mean, yeah, he's just super tanky, okay? And he's super strong. His ult is really strong, and if you get the KS, it's just gonna get pretty darn freaking nuts. He attacks a column of enemies with 3 consecutive strikes that deal 150% attack plus 42% max HP damage. Triggers breakthrough, instantly remove target's damage ignoration granted by unyielding type effect. Each attack against per target triggers only once. So he's an incredibly solid unit. Stun removal, again, always a major plus. He's going to be good in both PvE and PvP, and uses HP as his damage, HP percent base, which is always great, because you just pump his HP, which is going to make him more tanky anyway. So it's actually really cool. He's got insane synergy with Gyro Plus Core, so that's a major plus. But again, like it or not, you're going to have to build them. KS and Oct 2. It's just, it's redundant, but it's the reality of the situation. So his meta is pretty good until the next core drop, which is the DK plus core. So keep that in mind. But yeah, a solid character. Would I say it's a must get? No, but definitely solid. Now, the next character I'll be coming is going to be an easy one for free to play, the hard skip, but that's Flashy Flash. This character is going to be fun to play with, but the problem is he's just not realistically necessary, okay? His one big, let's say, sales point is the ability to remove enemy speed. So that's pretty freaking crazy. But again, it's not necessary at all, especially as things move down the line. And looking at his passive, this is what makes him very fun and interesting. When battle begins, gain specialized speed up, increases 5% speed. If the main target's speed is lower, he deals extra damage, a 300% attack to the main target. After action of any character, removes enemies' normal acceleration effect, permanently increases his own HP. His ult also doesn't cost you any energy. So yeah, what's he do for your team? Well, he does give a speed boost, evade, energy seal, but again you have to have Oct 2 and the KS for that, and of course the reduction in speed to your opponent. He does have self-healing with Oct 2, which is nice, but again he's going to require a shit ton of work. You're going to have to use the specified speed gears to really make him, because you're going to have to go all in, because if your opponent's Flashy Flash is better than yours, then it's basically nullified. So yeah, it's not a realistic character for most people. So that's going to be easy for people to save and move on with. Now Psychos will be next, and this character is definitely, again, going to be an easy pass for a lot of people, but it does introduce a new mechanic in the game which makes the character interesting, which is of course silence. As you can see in the ult, deals 5 consecutive attacks to all targets, dealing damage of 160% attack, has a 100% chance to silence the main target and 1 random target. That's what this character's claim to fame is. So that's really cool, okay? He's going to be good in PvP, but PvE, he's fine. But in the end, without getting too in-depth with the character, this is going to be a character that most will probably just move on from. So, it is. His niche is silence. End of story. Next up is going to be SSR plus Pig God. And, we still haven't even received the SSR version, so yeah, it's crazy. But this character, again, he's going to have the exit effect with him. He's also going to have the devour effect now, and if you've played any other One Punch Man games, you're probably familiar with what Pig God will do. So let's look at the passive. When battle begins, grant specialized guard by 1000% of attack, absorbs incoming damage up to 1500% of original max HP. After triggering unyielding type effect for the first time, grants specialized guard by 600% of attack, immunity to off battle, and glutton of battle, permanently increases his own HP. His ultimate Despair Devour attacks a single target with 4 consecutive strikes and deals damage by 300% of attack, and glutton the target and gets it off battle for 1 round, up to once per round. When glutton ends, if the target is in specialized unyielding status, its effective or upcoming damage ignoration will be changed by -2 actions. So yeah, he's good. He's a fine character, but I don't look at him by no means as a must get. And as we close out the last 2 months of 2024, the next one that should be coming out is the SSR Plus DSK. And this was one to really spend some time talking about. The SSR Plus Subterranean King is a really, I like the character. It's got specialized burn and all breakthrough. The basic attack attacks a single target with 2 consecutive strikes, no big deal. The ultimate, though, attacks all enemies with 4 consecutive strikes for 240% of attack damage, triggers breakthrough, instantly remove target's damage ignoration granted by unyielding type effect. Each attack against per target triggers only once. And the passive on this character, when battle begins, grants specialized guard by 800%. You know, we've talked about it previously. Attack absorbs incoming damage up to 1,500% original max HP, removes extra HP effects. And the Awakened passive on him has a 50% chance to inflict the target with specialized burn, with 150% attack as DOT, and disappears after in effect for 3 times. After action of any target, it transfers the targets that damage can be dealt to, absorbs specialized burn taken by enemy, and recovers self-specialized guard. I like the character. I'm always looking out for duelists that I like. And I think he's definitely a solid character. But what you're probably seeing here now through the rest of the year is you can really plan out your year and decide how you want to structure your teams. And you've got some flexibility because there's not a lot of must-gets after Geru. So that's the nice point. And that's kind of what the point of this video was to really show that you got some flexibility now after Geru if you get him, and you can really start to think about what you want to do with your team. Now with this character, by the way, for the 5P passive, that specialized protection goes up to 2,200%, which is a really nice push. The Awaken 2, the inflict chances goes to 90% over 50%. Specialized burn goes to 200% and permanently grants a 30% bonus ult damage. So yeah, it's I know I like this character. Let's just put it that way. Last but certainly not least is Deep Sea King SSR Plus. That should be the last unit of 2024, and of course, he's a doozy and one that I wouldn't call a must get, but is pretty high up there even for free-to-play players. Why do you say that? Well, he's going to be the first true counter to follow up with this new debuff adhesion. So enemies with specialized corrode will be unable to follow up, which is actually really cool if you think about it. So he basically effectively counters all follow-up units, CK+, Garu+, you name it. His corrode also spreads and transfers, which is freaking nuts. He's going to be super good in PvP and PvE due to that AoE specialized corrode. He's super tanky because he also gets specialized protection. So again, he's got so much pluses to him, and he's just a good all-around unit. His one major con is the fact that he's a grappler, and it's really tough to figure out who you want to use. So that's the one thing. And again, I'm going to circle back around to what I said before. The whole purpose of this video was to show everybody that there's not a lot of must-get units for the remainder of the year. So it's going to be really time that you can really plan out what characters you want, how you want your teams to look, and really have time to focus and save, and really not have to go crazy in this game if you don't want to. Now it's kind of, if you get Geru Core next month, then it's smooth sailing, quite honestly, and just go ahead and think about how you want to do your team dynamics. And that's kind of the moral of the whole story, and what I wanted to put out there is it's not a bad time to be playing right now, because quite honestly, you can go with minimal investment and just really kind of look at how you want to do your team. Like, to me, honestly, in the end, after Geru, I really like Atomic Samurai. I think he's one of those units you should pick up. I think Deep Sea King, for units that just have so much bang for their buck, that's how I look at them. But honestly, those to me are the pure top of the list. Some would argue Phoenix Man, etc. It's just going to be a matter of what your needs are and what you want to go after in your team dynamics. So for someone like me, I'm thinking about, the Geru Core with my King, of course, SSR Plus. And then after that, I would really like to be running Atomic Samurai with him. And then the other two is really going to decide on what I feel like I want to go with that team. So it's not a bad time to be playing right now once you get past the Geru Core and can really make some decisions on how you really want to move forward and just have some fun with the game and, not have to worry about much else. So let me know which characters excite you that remain for the remainder of 2024. Can't talk today. I've done too many videos. But with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.